Are you looking to sell your practice in the next 1 to 5 years? If so, the best time to start preparing for doing that was yesterday. The good news is the second best time to start doing that is today. Hi, my name is Jamey Schrier, and today I'm going to share with you how to position your practice for a profitable exit, a profitable sale. Now remember, I said the word position because by the time you go to hiring a broker, it's too late. Whatever you got, you got. What this talk is about of what you can do to actually position your practice to sell for more money, to sell for a higher multiple, and most important, to sell on your terms. And the best part, when you build a practice like this, you actually can live a greater life because I'm going to share with you how you get the benefit of all worlds. I've been a practice owner for over 25 years and an entrepreneur, and I myself sold my business for 66% more than any competitor in my area. And here's what's even better. I've helped 13 other private practices position their business to sell, some of which were a significantly 8-figure sales. So I'm going to share with you what I learned in my own business and selling and what I've learned helping all of these other practice owners as well. So whether you're in the physical therapy industry, occupational, pediatrics, mental health, any of those industries, you are going to benefit what I'm going to share with you today. So what is the first thing, really the most important thing? It's really about profitability. And when you're talking to people about selling your practice, they're going to use a term called EBITDA. And really, EBITDA is just a form of profitability. So this is what's most important. Profitability is not revenue. So when someone says, what's your top line revenue? You say, well, $1 million. $1 million would be what you collected, not what you're going to collect, what you physically collected. But then the profit is that, for many of us, much, much smaller number at the bottom of after you paid your staff, after you paid your overhead, and if you're treating, you would pay yourself. If you're not, you wouldn't necessarily do that. What's left over? What's the true profit of this company? So the idea becomes, how do we increase that bottom line and how do we increase the top line? Now, what often happens is, and I've seen it far too many times, is people will grow the top line. They'll go from 1 million to 2 million, but their profit won't actually go up percentage-wise. At 1 million, they're at 15%. And all of a sudden at 2 million, they're at 8%. In other words, they doubled their practice, but they make half as much. It doesn't make any sense, but that does happen. So there is a specific way that you want to build your company, making sure that you stay profitable as the best you possibly can. When you're building up profit, it's not about you working harder, you working more hours treating. If you're working more hours treating, you're not necessarily building the profitability of the company because it's related to your hours. So you want profitability that's based on not just your efforts, but the efforts of your other therapists. Number 2, build a strong leadership team. This is increasingly important when you start getting over the $1 million mark. Over the $1 million mark, you have enough revenue, you have enough therapists, you have enough what's called leverage points to begin putting in place management. Why is this important? Because a team that has a good management and good leadership is more valuable because it means, hopefully it means, you have delegated some things. You see, a company that's not very attractive to buyers is a company where the owner is doing everything. So by putting in a strong management team, empowering them to do their job well, and for them getting the results of doing that job well, allows a buyer to be like, that's an organized business. That business is a safer bet versus one where the owner's running around all over the place, doing all the positions and handling everything. So focusing on how can you position and organize and empower your management and leadership team? That's the question that you want to ask yourself. Number 3, diversify revenue. Diversify your referral mix. Let's start with revenue. Imagine your business is 80% Medicare. Now, if I'm a buyer and I'm looking to buy you, and you show me your books and I see Medicare, 80% of the income, I'm going to be a little weary on paying you what you think your business is worth because there's too much risk. Medicare can cut their rates like that. Like you've seen that happen already. So you don't want to have any person paying you to be more than, let's say, 20%. And that's coming from kind of the industry experts, 20% of your revenue. At the same time, you don't want to have any referral source that is more than 20% of your revenue. Because if Dr. So-and-so decides to retire, there goes 20% of your referrals. So you're always looking at diversify. You want to have, good payers, of course, and you want to try to accentuate the good payers, but you want to make sure that there's not someone that if something happens to them, it would kill your business. Now, again, when I say 20%, you take it with a grain of salt, right? If you have 20% of word of mouth referrals coming in, or let's say you have 50% of word of mouth, that's good, right? It's like, oh, we have word of mouth. But if it's not happening in any organized way, and we'll get to that systems in a second, but just to stay on this point, if it's not happening in an organized, like predictable way, then if I sell my business and I walk away, then all the referrals that are being come to the practice because of me go with it. That means I might have to stay with the company for 5 years and have my money tied to making sure that happens. All right, number 4, standardization and automation. This is where you get into the SOPs, standard operating procedures, right? Having process and systems. The best companies have the best system. And what happens is they hire good people to manage those systems. The worst companies don't have good systems. In fact, a lot of them don't have any systems. And they try to hire good people to try to manage and keep things going, but there's no organized way. The less organized and the less systematic your business is, the less money it's going to fetch on the open market. Now, having systems in place, having organization in place doesn't mean your business still doesn't have the personal touch. That's a myth that's out there. Having things that are consistently run. What is the intake of a new patient? What happens when a new patient gets with a patient? How is your marketing efforts bringing in and driving in new people, right? What is the onboarding process? What is the training process? What is the organization of how you understand your financial? All of these are the systems that makes your business magic. So focusing on and asking the question, what can I do to make something run more smoothly using a system? And you know what the systems also do? They help you, the owner, start moving yourself away from some of the day-to-day operation, right? It starts to create a term that I endearingly call become operationally irrelevant. And number 5, get your books straight. I have talked to so many brokers, so many buyers, and I was talking to one the other day, and he said, Jamey, I'm telling you, the darn books, the financials, if they are a mess, I'm not going to offer them as much money. Because if they're a mess, other things are a mess. How we do anything is how we do everything. If your book's a mess, chances are you don't have good systems in place. And chances are your financials are not going to tell the whole story of what's really going on. So what can you do to better organize your books? Do you have a bookkeeper in place? Do you have a budget in place? Are your accounts organized? Are you doing reconciliation on a regular basis, right? Do you have a clean tax returns for the last 2 or 3 years? These are things you want to start thinking about. And I would not be trying to do these on my own. Find the experts out there. Believe me, it is worth the investment to find the experts to help you organize these things. All of us run through certain expenses in our business. Just be clear on what you're running through your business. These are called add backs. When you sell your business, you're going to add back to your profit some of those expenses that maybe were benefiting you and the company, but they're not going to be moving through. Your phone might be one, your car might be one, some insurance might be one, some other stuff might be. So you want to make sure that you have an idea of what those are. So when you are asked for your books, you can simply say, these are not included. This is going to go to the bottom line. Implementing these strategies, you're going to create greater profitability, greater systems, and you're going to be more attractive to buyers, which is going to yield you more money, a greater multiple. And here's the best part, folks. The best part is you're going to be able to do this on your term. If you don't want to stay for 5 years, find a company that's going to be gladly to pay you to stay for maybe 1 year. For me, I left day one. I got a check 66% more than any competitor near me, and I didn't work another day at the practice. Do you know why? It's because I did have a team in place. They were empowered. My financials were clean. I had systems in place. I was able to replicate myself in the business, and they felt confident to say, you know what, Jamey, that's worth more to us. Positioning your practice to sell and doing these things I just said, it might be easy on paper, but man, they're not easy. It's difficult to do this. It is difficult to do this on our own when we're in the day-to-day, putting out the fires and doing all this stuff. That's why I absolutely recommend, getting a mentor, getting somebody that's in your corner, that's not biased or emotionally, charged by all of this, that can help you think through this stuff, help you plan, help you organize. And if you need help, and if you want somebody, reach out to us. We can set up a call and talk about what that looks like for you. That's what we do. We do private one-on-one coaching, and we help people better position their company to sell for more value, greater multiple on your terms. And the best part, once you build this type of business, you get to really enjoy the life that you want anyways in the meantime. So anyways, hope this helps. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and look forward to seeing you next time with another great helpful tips or strategies of how to grow your private practice. Bye for now.